Dear guests, dear viewers, dear followers, so we welcome you in the next podcast we have today. And we have the very interesting guest today, Marianna Luzanova, who is the founder of the compliance company Fintech Diligence. And today we will speak about a very interesting topic, which is in the modern days very actual in Czech Republic, regarding the crypto companies, the licensing, and how the crypto companies should deal with the new legislation in Czech Republic according to European standards, which were implemented at the beginning of 2025. Marianna.
Hello, thank you for inviting me. We'll be very glad to answer your questions. If there are some detailed questions, it would be even better, because I'm really keen on this here and have very big experience in this financial compliance sphere. And now we are transferring to the crypto compliance sphere. So even for me, it will be very interesting to cover all those questions that you have.
That's wonderful, Marianna. Thank you so much. And first of all, thank you for joining us. I know that in most cases you are mostly the interviewer, and you mostly take the interview from other people, from other companies as well. So now we a little bit change the places, and
Sure.
I guess we will have an interesting conversation today because the topic is very actual.
I'm sure.
So before we get to the regulatory landscape and the regulations in Czech Republic, I would like to ask you to give a brief experience or the description of your company profile. What do you do exactly?
Sure. Basically, the background of our company is my professional background, like a person, like a natural person, because I have been studying in the corporate governance in the High School of Economics here in the Czech Republic. And then I decided to continue my studies and the doctorates at the High School of Economics in Prague, VŠE, v Praze. And there was always the question, what specialization to take to continue my studies, because corporate governance is something very, wide, and you have to choose one particular sphere to continue with. So, and it began all with the specialization, my second specialization, which is called internal audit and consulting, which was the new specialization for the High School of Economics in Prague that time. And I had a very nice supervisor of my doctorate thesis, and he was trying to make me interested in the compliance sphere of the financial companies. That time, that was the growing field, the financial licensing, the licensing of the small credit companies, of payment service providers, and so on, because there was the PSD1, actual legal act on the market, on the European market, and nobody knew anything about that. So I was actually the explorer, and that was very perfect for the doctorate thesis. And also my topic of the doctorate thesis was the compliance and the corporate governance in the financial company. So this is how our company started. Actually, it started in 2011, when me and my husband, also the internal auditor by his specialization, started to make licenses of the payment service providers and EMI, like electronic money issuers, and credit institutions here in the Czech Republic. So from that time, we have made more than 40 licenses, which is really big amount of my licenses in terms that we do them complexly from the beginning to the end. And at the time passed, so there was PSD2, there were different directives of IML on the market, and every time we were going to be growing in this sphere, so making the requalification courses, studying all the time, and then we grew up to the Fintech Diligence company, which is specializing on the crypto companies. So as I am the person who wants to know everything about the sphere in which we work, so now we have the ecosystem, let's say, because we are providing the services like licensing, like internal audit of these companies. We provide the even the tutoring and the education for the IML officers of the companies, of the financial companies, because we also have another institution, which is educational institution, University of Marketing, Finance and Audit, also with my husband. So this is like the family business, which grew into several companies which cover all the fields of this licensing in this or that manner. So actually, this is what we do, and now is the time when everybody is working 24/7, because actually we have, according to new legislation, some deadlines that we have to submit the licenses of our clients for them to continue working in the Czech Republic. And actually, this is our present time work. That this is not like, everything was developing very smoothly in 2024, and now 2025, it's some rapid running in this sphere in all the European states, not only in the Czech Republic. So as we are looking at it, as we are examining it, so basically, that's why this is a very good topic and the theme for the interview.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And we will, of course, speak a little bit deeply about that, what you said, because 2025, as you already mentioned, should be very challenging for the crypto companies and the virtual assets companies in the Czech Republic from the point of legislation. And because of the legislation changed in Czech Republic, there was some amendments. We will speak about it very briefly as well. But you mentioned about AML officers.
Yes.
So that you are providing the certification, whatever. So according to new legislation, the AML officer in Czech Republic should be certified. So do you provide also with the official certificates to the AML officers?
Yes. This is not the certification which is equal to, for example, internal audit certification or some tax advisor certification. This is not the state certification, but you have to fulfill some professional requirements to be the AML officer, or even to be MLRO, so money laundering reporting officer. So, and this needs the proper education, because, for example, our courses, we have the condition for submission of the applications for our course to have the higher education. I cannot imagine that a person who will be working on such a responsible position wouldn't have the higher education in some of the related spheres. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that they have to have practice in this sphere. They have to have practice in, for example, accounting, finances, banking, IT, or some related spheres to upgrade their knowledge in this AML sphere, because it's rather very difficult. I would say that in our university, this is the most difficult course from all the courses, because it covers like 300 hours of tutoring, which are all designed to cover all the spheres of AML. So basically, but this is not only the requirement of the crypto business and of the financial business. Now the law tells us, the second paragraph of the AML law here in the Czech Republic, as well as the AML 6 directive, it tells us that almost all the spheres of business must have AML officer to cover all the risks that their enterprises or companies face in the terms of modern risks of AML and CFT, like combating financing of terrorism. So these are the lawyers, the notaries, these are the consultants, the entrepreneurs which work with the amounts of money higher than 10,000 euros. These are the real estate agents. These are the accountants, the tax advisors, everybody, let's say everybody, okay? So that's why this is crucial. And also the crypto companies which have in their requirements the MLRO and the AML officer and the AML department inside of the company. And this service even can be outsourced in this time. So actually, this is actually some crucial thing that everybody has to think over.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the crypto companies as well. So this is one of the main topic today for us. I just wanted to ask you, so from your experience, because as you said, as you mentioned before, you started mostly working from 2011 with your companies with the compliance.
Yes.
How can you compare the business activities till now? Because it's 14 years past already.
Yes,
You know,
I have.
So how do you compare the companies which you serve at the moment with the companies which you started to serve 14 years before? So what changed?
Everything changed, but what I wanted to tell is the very nice story of how the crypto market developed here in the Czech Republic, because actually I was at the very beginning of covering the crypto field here in the Czech Republic. Now imagine the Czech Republic is not very, let's say, how to be honest and not to tell something rude about this.
Maybe ready.
Not very ready for the modern technologies in terms of financial technologies and crypto technologies. And that was 2012 when we started to make the market analysis of meaning me and my husband, because there was the company Fintech Diligence only in its beginning. We didn't have any employee. So we started to make the market analysis of all the European countries, how is the crypto market developing in different European countries. And imagine that was the analysis that in all the countries we didn't find any of the crypto company license or registration or even notification to the regulator that could help us working legally in this market. So it didn't exist. And that was also the case because IML existed in that time, that I have found the 5 biggest crypto platforms that time. I'm not remembering the names, but also I think it was Bitstamp or something like that. There was no Binance that time. And I was trying to register on these platforms. And to see how their IML and KYC is working, I was downloading the photo of my cat instead of my photo, just to pass the KYC control. And they approved me. So that means that there was no KYC control, only just for marking that there was some, KYC questionnaire. So that was how it worked in 2012. So nobody controlled nothing. Then the time passed, and I had a client, 2 very young students with the backpacks from, let's say, from Bulgaria. This is not the actual country, but I have NDA with the client. And they came to my office and said that they know me as the person who makes the very difficult licenses here in the Czech Republic, and that they have very difficult case. That case was receiving the crypto from the clients and paying with this money converted to fiat money to different invoices like Vodafone, like, different expenses, community fees and so on, utility bills and so on. And I have answered that there is no license in the Czech Republic that can cover this type of business, because crypto or Bitcoin, nobody knows about it. It's just, some phenomenon which happens in the books rather than in practice. And I was searching the way how to do the license, because they needed it to attract the investment from the big venture fund. And then we submitted the license to the Czech National Bank, where I divided the first part of business, like receiving the crypto, and the second for which we got the license. So this was historically the first license that was mentioning Bitcoins in the business plan. But the Czech National Bank has told me that they have nothing to do with this first part, because they don't regulate it. And I guess that in 2014, they issued the, statement of the Czech National Bank that there is no law or no act which is covering the crypto business. So they assess this crypto business as the assets of the company, not the investment, not the payment, means of payment, but like the assets. So like the stocks even. So from that time, I understood that we are very far away from the legislation of crypto. And I had a friend, and now we are working together as well. And that time it was 2015, so it was 10 years ago. And we were sitting together as now we are sitting with you. And he was telling me that it will take like 1 or 2 years that the banks in the Czech Republic will include crypto services into banking services, and they will provide those crypto services. And we had a bet for the bottle of champagne that every year, this day, don't remember, it was particular like 10th of April, we will meet and we will see which banks have included the crypto services. For 10 years, I have been drinking very good champagne every year in April. So this was like, I was not pessimistic. I'm the realistic person, and I'm studying the history of banking services here for the last 40 years. So really keen on this history of payment services in the Czech Republic. I'm studying all the directives and all the legislation which comes into in the practical, field. So for me, in 2015, it was even not real and realistic that something will happen in the crypto field here. I was better suggest that it will happen with Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, or some Malta, which was very, progressive in this sphere, but not Czech Republic. But now, because of 2024, with all the directives and all the laws that happened in this sphere, I see that the Czech Republic is one of the first places and first countries of the European Union which implemented this law very, very progressively, if I can say this word. And now they proclaim themselves as a sandbox for crypto, which means that we're somewhere very near to Switzerland, which was also the sandbox for crypto companies. And I hope that this will move forwards like that, because actually this sounds like very optimistic for this market. Because the new payment and financial services which appear in the country, this is also and always the very good progress for the country in terms of taxes, everything, financial infrastructure and everything. So I hope that this is true.
Yeah, especially about the control, because by implementing the new legislation, the central bank started to control more prospectively the business activities of the virtual companies, or let's say virtual assets companies. You mentioned the banks and you mentioned the central bank as well. So I really would like to discuss maybe this point, because as I mentioned before our interview, I was involved during the many years as the member of the board of directors of different banks in my life. But as you mentioned also, I was a little bit pessimistic about the cryptocurrencies, like all the time, and maybe 10 years ago, So because I said, okay, for me, the cryptocurrencies were a little bit bubbles, or whatever, to trade. Now I see that the things are changing, but at the same time, recently I heard, if I'm not mistaken, that the Central Bank of Czech Republic, they mentioned even that they are ready to keep the reserve funds in crypto, the deposits in crypto here in Czechia. So does it mean, in your opinion, that the Czech National Bank really wants to, or ready to accept the cryptocurrencies as the real payment method for the future? Because in my opinion, because I was so pessimistic of that, I was thinking that if any of the central bank of any country will accept the cryptocurrency, it means that they will be dependent on the cryptocurrencies in the future, and they will let the cryptocurrencies, which is the worldwide currency, to come into the specific country and maybe to kill the local currency.
And affect the monetary policy.
Is exactly. So what do you think about this?
I have very different thoughts about that, because I was studying the news about this, deposit in the cryptocurrency, etc. what I think is that, in my opinion, I am also, Czech National Bank is some kind of very ruling regulator for me. I think that the monetary policy of the Czech National Bank is perfect, without any, any other but. As I was studying the monetary policy, as I was reading all the things that the Czech National Bank has done in these years, the last, let's say 20, 30 years, so this is something very exciting for me as for the professional who is studying the monetary policy. But also there is the point of view that the monetary policy and actually the policies of the central banks, they change in time. For example, when we say 2009, it was the introduction of electronic money. Nobody knew what is electronic money, that somebody can issue electronic money or that we can work with NFC technology. NFT is something else, but NFC technology that we won't pay with the cards, inserting them into POS terminals. That was like something very difficult to understand and to know in 2012. I was working that time with the guy who created NFC technology and made it work in the practical field. So, and that time we were let's say, discovering all the banks here in the Czech Republic, started with the biggest ones and the smallest ones, and we were offering them this kind of new technology to implement them into the POS terminals. That time all the banks were not ready for that. In 2 years, NFC was everywhere. So this fintech, financial technology sphere is developing very rapidly. The national banks, I'm not telling about the Czech National Bank only, but all the national banks, they have to keep this tempo. They have to be in time with these new technologies. With
maybe
this
proactive.
Proactive, yes, because in like other ways, there will be some other authority who will come with the proactive decisions, and the regulators won't help themselves to be in, let's say, hand in hand with these technologies and with this time. So my point of view that this very ambitious goal to make deposits in crypto is something to be modern and to show themselves as a very progressive and proactive regulator. This probably has nothing to do with monetary policy or with some intentions to keep some of those deposits in cryptocurrencies forever, or just to show, because they have to prove that they are the sandbox for the cryptocurrencies, somehow to prove that, okay, guys, see, we are also very progressive in this sphere and we want to keep this everything under control, and we are trying to make it like this. Okay, so I don't know, I don't have any particular point of view on that, if it's bad or if it's good. I think this is the promo marketing of the Central National Bank of the Czech Republic, and we'll see how it will move forwards.
I totally agree with you, and also just would like also to mention my opinion about this, because I see this as the supportive step to the crypto companies and the companies who works with the virtual assets.
Yes.
Just to show that, look, I'm with you.
Yes,
I'm with you guys.
Yes.
So, and this is very optimistic way of thinking, because now the crypto companies who were registered in Czech Republic, they're a little bit afraid from different points of view.
Yes.
First of all, because of the lack of information, maybe for themselves, because they don't know what to do exactly, or they know something, but they don't know detailed information. Secondly, they don't know how the government will move towards the cryptocurrencies and towards the virtual assets in the future. In that case, I would like to come to the legislation points of view.
Okay.
And can you please briefly describe what kind of the certification of the licenses should the crypto company have before the end of the deadline? And what are the deadlines?
Yeah, actually, in this sphere, the Czech Republic was also very progressive because we started to have VASPs here, Virtual Asset Service Provider, from 2021. So this is not like the new license for these companies. And even there was the new accounting laws for covering the crypto sphere. So from that time, we started to know how to operate in this sphere legally, how to make the accounting of these companies legally, because nobody knew about that anything. So now we had the directives in this sphere. But in 2024, the European Union decided to cover this with the MiCA regulation. MiCA means Market in Crypto Assets Regulation, is the directive, usually said like MiCA or MiCAD. And it had some, stages of implementation. To compare this directive with others, I would compare it with the PSD2 in terms of its innovation to legislation, not in terms of its, similarness with the PSD2, but the innovation. And everybody was stuck because on the one hand, European Union started to make the regulation in the crypto sphere. On the other hand, this is something new even for the regulators, so not only for the crypto companies. As you have said, that many of the companies are afraid because they don't know what to do. Neither regulators know what to do, because I think that this is the problem not only for the small companies, but also for the big crypto currency stocks and for crypto companies which are international. Because, for example, now I have read that some of them didn't get the license until now, though they have submitted all the documents, and I believe that all the documents are okay according to that MiCA. But the regulators, they have no experience with that as well. So this is the challenge for all these parties of the market. In my opinion, now all the members of this market, all the players on this market must cooperate to help each other. So that means that, let's say there are the very nice and strong players in the crypto market. They can provide the practical information how it works within their policies, within their business plans, which they submit to the regulator. And the regulator will be like artificial intelligence learning from case to case on how it works in the real field. What is missing, I think that, this is missing, but the Czech National Bank has made the effort to know how many applications will be submitted here, because in 2023, I guess, there was the appeal, or 2024, there was the appeal that please register if you want to submit the application to MiCA, so that we know how many applications will be submitted in 2025. Just to understand the sources that the Czech National Bank needs to make the licensing of those companies. At the moment, I think that they have a lot of precedents and the cases from which they are learning how to regulate all this. So I think that the Czech National Bank, as well as the other regulators, will come very soon with some methodical requirements or some explanations which are now in MiCA and in technical standards, RTS, for application of the licenses. But what is missing, for me, is missing the very particular instruction from the Czech National Bank, how we should describe all the requirements which we have at the moment, because they can be described in many different ways. I look at it as the person with 15 years of experience in this sphere, and we will see. For example, I have the clients for whom we prepare the licenses, and now we are making brainstorm with my colleagues, but also professionals, what is meaning by that this point in MiCA and what we have to submit. We'll see, because the Czech National Bank, I know only about one license issued here in the Czech National Bank.
Already issued?
Already issued, yes. but it can happen that it's very small number of licenses for this country. But I think that everybody was submitting it last month, so it will happen that they will be issued in a very big number of licenses. I hope so.
And what is the deadline?
The deadline, so that was coming back to MiCA. We had the deadline the 30th of December 2024. That was the deadline for administration issues, for opening a company with the written WASP activity in the trade registry. That was just the license of trade, no other type of licenses. And you had to submit the AML and CFT documentation to the Financial Investigation Unit, which is Financial Analytical Bureau here in the Czech Republic. And you could work. If you have submitted this activity until the 30th of December 2024, then you can work as the WASP company, like the crypto company. Let's say transaction period. The transaction period is until the 1st July of 2026. But you have to submit the license to the Czech National Bank until the 31st of July. So from today, today is the 17th of or 16th of July, we have 2 weeks. Now imagine how many work we have in our offices. So if you submit this application, then you have 11 months to work as a crypto company, even without issued license from the Czech National Bank. So that, or until you get denied of the license, or until you get approved. So this is the thing. And only time will show us how it will last and how it will continue in this sphere. So probably in 6 months or in 1 year, I will tell you what is the actual situation in this market. Because now, for me, it's something like, very nice film where that I am looking with the popcorn in my hands, because it's very thrilling, very interesting, even in professional point of view.
Okay, good. And you mentioned a very important topic, and also that this is also questionable at the moment. I'm really keen to know and to understand that the Czech National Bank is definitely knowing what they are doing, of course, and whatever we are checking right now in the country regarding the crypto companies and the virtual assets companies and the legislation they implement, it looks like Czech Republic is also following the standards of European Union.
For sure.
And it looks like only the healthy companies will stay in the market.
That's right, and this
was the target, I think. Yeah, yes. And this is very good, to be honest. This is very good. But from another point of view, I don't have the exact numbers, but I heard about something around 15,000 companies that were more or less registered as with virtual assets till the end of 2024. And of course, I think not all of them will go to the registration of the new licenses, and that's for sure. How do you think, and you already touched this, is the regulatory ready to check all the applications from the clients? Because the applications is very complexive.
Yes.
And we can also speak about this. Maybe you will mention maybe the key documents or the key steps that
sure.
the company should do. So just combine this, and maybe you answer with one answer to that. Is the regulator is ready to check all the applications and the documents from each of the company till 1st of July 2026? What are the key documents and the key criteria that the companies should have?
Okay. Our regulator, the Czech National Bank, has made the meeting, and it has invited all of the professionals like lawyers, consulting companies to the building of Czech National Bank in October 2024, just to discuss all these points. I have my own statistics. There is some algorithm that I don't want to discover. How many companies are in the country, in the economy? But according to my statistics and the requirements of the law, I think that something like 4,000 WASPs were going, like on the go in the end of December, and were transiting to this transit period to January. So that was the, let's say, initial market, initial number of the companies that had the WASP permission. Meaning like legal persons, because natural persons, they don't get the MiCA license. So this is the first thing. The second point of view is that not all of them could fulfill the criteria because they are really tough. I think that they are tough not only in the qualification of the persons which are in the executive board and management of the companies, which are the UBOs of the companies, but they are very tough in financial investment, because if you want to operate the trading platform, the crypto platform, you have to buy some platform or the license for it. And now the prices are starting from 7,000 euros per, installing the platform to 500,000 euros. This is the price that I have heard this week for the operating crypto platform. So this is the investment which not all of these 4,000 companies have. To speak the truth. The second thing is that I guess that there is also always the market principle. 1% of all the market scale will get the license. So that means that from 4,000 we have 40 companies that will get the license. This is pessimistic. 1% is really pessimistic. But if you will count with the thing that not all of 4,000 companies will apply, then we are moving upper and increasing the percentage of the companies that will submit the license. The third point of view is that I have studied, I know them by heart, all the requirements for MiCA license. And not all of them, not all of the companies are so, diligent in studying those requirements. So some of the companies and some of the clients that I know, they just submit the application together with, let's say, CVs of the UBOs. This is some kind of, 50 pages application. I have the applications for 700 pages, which is so. On the first stage of their review of the applications, I think that the regulator will look it through and will just kick it out of the licensing process. From the other hand, there are all the requirements which are very tough. So MiCA and the RTS requirements, they, require, or there is 700 pages documentation that I prepare for each license. And I don't think that everybody from 4,000 companies which are now on the market will prepare this scale of documents. So somebody just thinks that they will prepare just the application and some, CVs of the UBOs, and this will be enough. But this is not enough, because it all the spheres of the activities of the company must be covered. So I guess that this will be some of the, not lottery, but very properly managed licensing process, when the Czech National Bank will see its sources, and they will filter the companies that have very bad applications on the first stage of their licensing process, and then they will take care of the companies which have good applications, like ours, for example. So for me, and also when we were in October 2024 on the meeting with the Czech National Bank, they said that they have the capacities for 20 applications per month. 20. So that means
20 per month. Okay.
Yes, this is a big number of licenses. So if from these 20 applications they will issue at least 4 licenses, then we have something like 50 licenses per year in the Czech Republic, which is already a very big amount of, very big number of licensed companies. But there is also one thing which is needed to be mentioned, that MiCA does not include only the virtual asset service providers as the companies who provide, let's say, services connected with exchange and stable coins, etc. But it also covers the field of IRT and EMT issuing. So these are the tokens which have some value in them, just to be very, very simple in my description. And this is what our company doesn't do, because it needs a lot of much more work for preparation. And it has very much in common with EMI license, electronic money issuer license. So there are for sure some part of those applications which are very difficult, very tough, and very heavy, let's say. So I think that the main attention which the regulator will pay, they will pay on this kind of applications, of RT, EMT applications. So our applications, like for this, there are 3 classes according to Annex 4 of MiCA, class 1, class 2, class 3. The 3rd class is covering all the trading platforms and services connected with crypto, which can exist in the market. So I think that this will be something like a very simple and easy playground for the regulator to control these things. So, but you have mentioned about the documents, the list of required documents. I would better forward this question, or the clients or the followers that will see this podcast, and they will, what is better to do in terms of knowing which kind of documents and requirements are needed to submit the application for MiCA. There are the technical standards which are subject to MiCA. So it's necessary to read MiCA itself to understand all the things that are discussed in this directive. And the second thing is to read the technical standards, because this is describing those requirements in a very detailed manner. From that, you just make the extract of which policies and which documents and information you have to submit, because it's written, there are 13 or 14 articles, they're in RTS, and all of them cover one field of the activities of the company. So first of all, for example, program of activities, which is business plan, including marketing, financial plan for 3 years for different scenarios. It's not only like you write and you don't suggest that some bad will happen or some good will happen on the market. So then it's, for example, requirements to the management board, to the specialists that will work for your company, to UBOs, etc. And ICT, which is Article 9, which is probably the most heavy requirement, ICT infrastructure, and according to DORA, which is another directive. So it's all connected. And I don't think that the person who have never seen this fintech field and crypto field will manage to do this licensing documentation. This is something when you go to the operation like a surgery, and you have never done any surgery, and you try to make, some kind of surgery. This is the same. You won't succeed because you have to know the peculiarities of this process. This is very important. So I guess that for the enthusiasts that want to submit the license, it's always better to ask some kind of professional or some kind of specialist that knows what particularly RTS is asking of us. So
that's critical point, and thank you for this clarification. I think that we can speak about hours and hours about I would say terms and conditions for the new legislation, terms and conditions for the new licenses of the crypto companies, but it's better to read once.
Yes.
Yeah, so yes. That's okay. But in any case, the companies can apply to you or to us, and we will connect you with these terms and conditions. So just you will be able to explain more detailed, so what they need to do. I just would like to shift to a little bit to partnership side and to ask you very briefly the answer to this question. So what are the main criteria when you deciding to cooperate or not cooperate with the crypto company? So if any crypto company just applies to you, what do you do?
No. Probably this is the most crucial question when we talk about cooperation with the potential clients. Why? Because this is very much of reputational side. When you work with some company which is not diligent, which is not compliant, and you try to make something good from that company, there is also always the consequence of bad reputation for you, because you are connected somehow as a specialist with the company that is not working properly. So for us, it's very necessary on the first stage to make the due diligence of the company with which we're going to cooperate. Due diligence is made in different spheres of business, not financial due diligence, which is actually one of the parts, but first of all, reputation due diligence of the client. So we make KYC process, we make all the controls of the UBOs and of the managers of the company in terms of AML, CFT, if they are not sanctioned persons, if this is not the nominal person which is, representing the company. So we are trying to do our homework in order to make our next cooperation very smooth and very fast and very effective. So, and this works actually because I have this principle from, let's say, 2015. So this works always because then the time passes and I see that all the clients with whom I cooperated have achieved their success in that or this sphere. And for me, it's also the good reputational point of view that I focus only on personalities and on the companies with whom it's very efficient to work with. So, because every client that you have is actually one of your portfolio clients. So you have to think it over with whom you will be associated in the future. So,
yeah, that's really very important to make the due diligence before cooperation with any company, of course, especially crypto company, because it should be under the compliance of the also new legislation and also the KYC, I don't know, some any other tools which the companies may use to cover the necessary terms and conditions. I would like also to jump maybe to business perspectives, and from your opinion, the new legislation and the new terms and conditions which are implemented by the government, will it help for the development of the crypto companies in Czechia? And how do you see the development in common in Czechia of virtual assets business?
I would say that I wouldn't discuss only Czech Republic in these terms, but all the countries of the European Union, because this MiCA is something very common for all the European states. And actually in this sphere, the Czech Republic will be following the EBA and ESMA directives and the directives that they appear on the European stage. I think that regulation of crypto activities is very up-to-date thing. So it had to appear on market, because it's like a very gray zone which nobody understands, nobody covers, and the government has to make some kind of due diligence of this and make some audit of this and make some order in all this crypto world. I don't think that they will manage to do this in this year or the next year, because the blockchain sphere is really very, very large, and not all the countries of the world regulate it, as, for example, the analog is the AML regulation. But I think that in 10-15 years, we will come to some situation when the blockchain will be covered at least for 80%. So there will be always black blockchain, but we will for sure know how to operate with that, and this will be more public than it is now. Because if you go out in the street, I think that 1 of 10 people will know what is blockchain and what is crypto, and 1 of 100 person that you meet in the street work with crypto. So this is not like we know about it because this is our professional sphere. I know about it like it would be my child, so, but not everybody. I think that it will take some 5, 10, 15 years for us all to negotiate with that on the public scale, let's say, okay? Social scale, let's say. So this is the beginning of the regulation. I think that it will be developing very rapidly and very in good direction, because I have studied the precedent of AML regulation, which also started somewhere in 1980 of the 20th century. And now look, we have automatic systems of control. We have some subs, Shafty pros for all these KYC processes. We have artificial intelligence for all of this. So I think that the direction is very good, and the prospections and perspectives of the Czech Republic are very connected with the same of the European Union. So we'll see how it will look like in the European countries, and we hope that the Czech Republic will be one of the countries to show the standards of development and to show the vectors of development in this sphere, because somebody has to be the leader in this sphere. And all the professionals that are on market, because there are a lot of professionals in this market in the Czech Republic, I hope that we will work together as the working team to help each other to understand it better, to move it forwards, and to work with the regulators, to communicate on these topics, just to, to make this more transparent than it is at the moment.
I would like maybe, because we are, in this perspective, we are from the one side of the business activity, because you're representing the company.
Yes.
And the needs of the crypto company. So let's a little bit talk about another side of this business activity, the people.
Okay.
So, from your opinion, these regulations, and I think I would like to, first of all, to take my opinion about it, just to say my opinion about that, because I think that the new regulations, when the people know that the government is doing the best to implement the new regulations, restricted just some terms and conditions of the companies, I would feel myself more safer in the market. From your perspectives, how do you think, will it push the people to trust more to the crypto companies in Czechia? And if yes, maybe, I don't know, maybe you have your own analysis or whatever, which kind of the virtual assets or which kind of the business activities are more attractive for people. I mean, like the customers.
Talking about that, we should divide the crypto or blockchain, because there are a lot of fields of blockchain. To stablecoins, which are the analog of fiat money, of the currency like euro or dollars, and the bitcoins, which are much more volatile, I don't know how to say, very risky instrument, investment. It's not investment instrument, but somebody thinks that it is, because the price, the price of Bitcoin has risen, decreased recently. So all the other blockchain initiatives like NFTs, tokens which are issued by different companies to gather some investment and so on. So there are a lot of purposes for which the cryptocurrency exists. When I ask my colleagues and the partners and the clients of the local business, classical, traditional business, if they use cryptocurrencies to, and if they receive cryptocurrencies from the clients, from their customers, I would say that nobody does. I receive cryptocurrencies only in terms of consulting services, because it's cheap to transfer, it's very transparent, and it's immediate. So they have very good pluses and good points in them. Otherwise, I wouldn't use this. Why? Because I have fiat money, I have electronic money, I have credits that I can use in terms of payment instruments. So talking about people, I think that the most interested thing in blockchain are Bitcoins and the analogs of the cryptocurrencies, which are not stable coins, let's say, which change their price, and there is always the lottery thing in that, so that you invest today and you will get twice of your investment in, let's say, 1 year. You have to wait, but you just every morning you wake up and you see on your phone what is the price of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. This is the first point of view. There are a lot of hazard people who want to invest in this kind of cryptocurrency. If we say about the stable coins, which can place or replace the fiat money and traditional means of payment, I think this depends very much on PR. If the government and the banks will make the proper advertisement of this means of payment, if the government will say that this is safe, that you can pay with that you can have the cards with the crypto in it and pay with this in the merchant, in the on the stock and the commercial houses and so on, in the shops, then the people will get acquainted with that. They will use it. If there will be no PR from the government, then I think that even if it would be the most safety instrument in the world, nobody will know about it. It's about promotion. So I think that everything depends on the government and on the way how not only the Czech National Bank, but probably the European authorities will promote it.
So the question,
yes.
Do you believe that the banks in Czechia will provide the specific crypto accounts to the customers and to execute the payments and whatever the exchange between the crypto accounts and the normal fiat accounts like currencies here?
Okay.
And if yes, maybe your forecast, when can be it done?
I think that here in the Czech Republic, the banks are very conservative and very traditional in terms of new payment instruments, as well as in many other countries of the European Union. I think that we will use this service in 3-5 years. At the moment, I see that they know what is crypto. They don't want to work with crypto companies at all. They just, but they have the obligation to open the accounts for crypto companies. Nobody knows it, but that's the legal obligation of the banks. So I think that in, let's say, 3 years, they will introduce some service connected with crypto exchange, etc. And in 5 years, this will be on market. But what is very important to understand, there is Revolut Bank, which is very modern and very proactive. When we see that Revolut has introduced the cryptocurrency wallets, then count 2 years when the Czech Republic banks will introduce the service as well. I think that the first will be Česká spořitelna.
Oh, really? That's
this
interesting.
This is my own, view on this matter.
Yeah, that's interesting. But in any case, I think this is the matter of time.
Yes.
This is the matter of time,
yes.
Because everything is going to that side that the banks also will execute. This will accept this and as a specific tool. And I totally agree that they also need to be safe.
Yes.
From the point of view of the crime, AML, and any other aspects which is written in the legislation in Czech Republic. And if it will be supported by the central bank, that would be really, really interesting and attractive for all the people. But as I see, we're all going to electronic money in the nearest future.
Yes,
so
that's right.
we will refuse maybe from the paper money. I don't know how much time do we need, but
Yes.
in most cases, we will refuse
Probably
from
in
that.
the same time when we will have the crypto service in the banks.
maybe. And just to zoom it out, what is your advice? What advice can you give to the Czech companies who would like to start the crypto business in Czechia, or they would like to register, or they would like to submit the application for MiCA licensee? So what would be your advice?
Not to have illusions about it. This is business which requires a lot of sorry. This is the business which requires a lot of financial investment and as well as personal resources and qualified people and officers in your companies. So this is not like something that you can open and think it over after 2-3 months if you want to follow it in the next months, because it's really expensive. The founding of the company is really expensive. So this is the first advice. And the second advice is to be compliant. It's not the matter of getting the license, but it's the matter of working for a long time. And these are the different points of view. You can have the license and you can get the fine from the regulator in 6 months because you are not compliant with one of the 100 laws that you have to be compliant with. So this is my point of view. I have 15 years of experience. I saw different cases and precedents. So guys, please be compliant, or just think it over. To go or not to go in this sphere, to be or not to be, that is the question.
Yeah, that was interesting ending of our conversation, and that's all for today's episode. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Marianna, I would like to thank you for sure for today's conversation. It was very interesting from perspectives of understanding the terms and conditions for the new legislation and new licensing processes in Czechia, as well as from MiCA point of view, as well as from the perspectives that the country has in the future. So I really would like to thank you for this, for your thoughts, and would like to finalize our meeting, our podcast under this, and hope to see you in the future. Of course,
Sure.
Because we will have these topics maybe during the year as well. Before 1st of July, we still have the time for the licensing.
To discuss it.
And maybe the final word to you as well.
I thank you for the inviting me to this podcast. There are a lot of things which I would like to tell to the, these enthusiasts in this sphere, but I think that we will keep it for the next podcasts and for the next topics. So I wish you success in your activities, and I hope to cooperate with you in this field.
Thank you so much, dear viewers, dear subscribers. Thank you so much for today's podcast, and hope to see you in the nearest future, because we have in mind the different fields of cooperation. During the podcast, we will invite the new interesting people in order to give you the more and more interesting information in the future and more new interesting episodes. Thank you so much, and see you soon.